सभी को मेरा मृदुल प्रणाम and good evening to you all friends. It's my blessings. It is wonderful session today. We are going to discuss about the status of the mind as well as its elements and its various layers. Friends, usually when we are involved with the materialistic life, usually we think about the our body and the materials only. Hardly we think about our mental states, hardly we take care of our mind. But as we know that life begins and the first consciousness comes that we see, it is expressed only through the mind. And it is the ruling factor. So it is important that you must have a better understanding for the mind and its element and its different layers. So let us today see and through this presentation how what are the mental state and what are its elements. I'm going to share my PPT now. Now, the topic is mind, its element, and the layers. Now, let me see uh, what is the biology. Biology, usually we discuss about the physical body, the structure, and that constitutes your mind, brain. And when we talk about the mind, it is something beyond the brain. So, brain and mind, they are the two separate things that we are. When the materialistic understanding is the brain, and your spiritual or dynamic understanding is about the mind. So, the secret of the life lies in the mind and its element. Friends, our life is just the creation of our mind. This is the beautiful saying of Buddha. We are created, and what we see, what we observe, what we feel, what we have the consciousness, it is only about the through the mind. Without mind, we cannot see, we cannot have the consciousness, we cannot have the expressions or imaginations about the blood. So you just imagine when you are conscious, you have the pain, you have the pleasure, but when you are unconscious, you don't have the pain or the pleasure. So it is important understanding that we must see how it is possible. The mind has always fascinated and puzzled us. It is the only things that we can be certain of existing. Yet, apparently, we do not know exactly what it is, how it occurs, and why it occurs. This is in contrast to things outside the mind, such as house, cars, and even other people, which we cannot be certain that they really exist. They may be just illusion, yet apparently we know what they are, how they occur, and why they occur. But this is imaginations, what we think. It is the imaginations, but we have to see what we actually we are. The phenomenon of qualia and the consciousness, such as the red color as it appears phenomenally red in our mind and our phenomenal consciousness, always awareness and experience of that red color has always been baffling. What is their nature and how and why they are occurs and what cannot be just without the mind. Can you think about the color about the mind? No. You cannot see, you cannot have understanding. So the biggest concept is that fortunately with the centuries of studying this matter, first by philosophers and later by the neurologists, neuroscientists, and other scientists in related fields, we now have a wealth of scientific evidence and concepts that are complete enough to form a theory that can answer this great puzzle. Friends, the basic theory about the minds are from the physical property of the mind and those of the brain, the alive processing brain, it can be concluded that the mind always exerts, occurs, exists, and functions. Mind it occurs, it is there, it exists and functions with the brain, and that the brain always occurs, exists, and functions with the mind. So both are complete, brain and mind are complementary to each other. So they never occurs alone without they are the unity. So just see, I can tell you, when you think about the body, when you cannot separate the body and the mind, because mind and body they exist together, and mind, where is the brain? It is not only the your head; it is all spread throughout the body, throughout your in every nucleus, every cells of the nucleus has got a small brain. So entire body has got one. Each of the intrinsic equivalent but different non-material versus material aspect of this unity. Friends, from the basic physical property of the mind and those of the brain information processing process, which are non-material process, it can be concluded that the mind is the composite of information processing process of the brain. The mind is the composite of information processing process. It can be an informational entity, a non-material entity that is composed of information and information processing. The information processing process that forms the mind are innumerable in number and involve information that range from a simple to very advanced. The mind is an informational entity in a highly advanced form. The mind is non-material, informal, informational entity. It is not a conventional physical entity, no, or mechanical entity like mass, energy, or force. That is why it is so different from the conventional physical therapy. Qualia, the mental phenomena that appears phenomenally in our mind and that we can consciously experience, such as the vision of a house, the sound of a song, and the odor of a rose in our mind are the physical phenomena. They are governed by physical law and are physically predictable. From the physical property of the qualia and those of the special kind of neural process signal pattern, which are neural formations and non-material, it can be concluded that qualia are a special kind of neural processing signal pattern. If you look around and consciously experience the visual qualia occurring right in front of us now, with the fact that our consciousness can experience the visible qualia and that the only things of the conscious neural process is capable of reading our signaling pattern of neuroscience. It is incapable to conclude that we are in fact experiencing the signaling pattern of neural process. Qualia are a special kind of neural information. Neural information is a specialized form that when read in neural process are interpreted by to be entities with the phenomenal appearance of or qualia that appears phenomenally in our mind. Material neural process. No novel, no material entity arises or emerges from material neural process to be the qualia. Then from the physical properties of consciousness and those of the special kind of restraint signaling pattern, which is the neural information of the consciousness, neural process, and the non-material, it can be concluded that consciousness is a special kind of restraint signaling state. It is interpreted to be the entities with phenomenal appearance or consciousness that appear phenomenally in our mind. Like the mind and qualia, consciousness is non-material, informational entity, not a mechanical entity. This answers the hard problem of consciousness and bridge the explanatory gap of how non-material phenomena consciousness arise from material consciousness as neural process. Non-material phenomena consciousness is a signaling state that has always existed intrinsically in the material consciousness neural process. No novel, non-material entity arises or emerges from the material consciousness neural process to be the conscious. The fact that qualia and consciousness, conscious awareness and conscious experience are the qualia occurs only in the final stage sensory perception neural process and the highest level cognitive and executive neural process, which are the latest evolved neural process and never occur in the more primitive neural process such as brainstem, cerebellum, or the basal ganglia, or over the brain scattering, indicated that there are no randomly occurring phenomena but are evolved functions and of the nervous system. Neural process that perform the certain functions such as perceiving or vision without qualia occurring as a neural process that performs the same function such as perceiving or vision with qualia occurring have different information in the process. They have different signaling patterns that to convey different information. There are different physical effects on the other neural process, at least from different effects of the different. Qualia thus have physical effects, and consciousness neural process is the physical process. Qualia causes the change in physical process and thus have physical effects. Similarly, it can be concluded that consciousness has physical effects. Therefore, qualia and consciousness are evolved neural functions that have physical effects. Friends, function requires resources in building, maintaining, and operating the functions and may have some negative effects. It is the overall effects do not help to increase the survival chances of the animal that have the function. Those animals and the functions will likely become extinct in the evolutionary process. And this is especially true for major functions in a critical organ such as the qualia and consciousness in the. This means that their overall effects must help increase the survival chance of the species that have it. And qualia and consciousness in the form they are phenomenal qualia and phenomenal consciousness, or qualia and consciousness that appear phenomenally in our mind, thus are evolved functions to help increase the survival chance of a species, including human that have it. This is the scientific answer to the other parts of hard problem of consciousness. Now, the elements, the growth of the mindset. A growth mindset is one of the open to lifelong learning and development. Your brain is constantly changing and challenging yourself will improve its strength, adaptability, and intelligence. A growth mindset is to understand that talent is a result of hard work and practice, not simply something innate talent and unlearnable. And character strength. Your individual character strength influence your decision making and life choices. The US-based Fire Institute has identified 24 character strengths that everyone possesses, but in different quantity. It includes creativity, curiosity, kindness, leadership, perseverance, humanity, and social intelligence. And goal setting. One of the major factors of success is having directions. Setting goal and marking milestone helps you to see the results of your efforts, give you the motivation and inspiration, and turn dream into something tangible and attainable. Achieving your goal depends on your level of commitment and your solution to obstacle you encounter along the way. And resilience, another important phenomena, is staying calm under pressure and bouncing back from setback and disappointment is the key attribute for success in school, work, and life in general. Resilience is the strength that enables you to confront obstacles and overcome failures, deal with the different type of people, and cope with uncomfortable or unfair situations. Then again, important phenomena is mindfulness, as understood by Lord Buddha. Rejecting distraction and staying focused on the present are key skills that will serve you well throughout your life. Mindfulness is the act of staying in the moment or on a task. Practicing and owning your mindfulness will increase your ability to concentrate, which will reduce stress and anxiety and help you remain calm and in control. And then self-acceptance. This is the greatest power. One of the toughest elements of to develop is self-acceptance is the ability to acknowledge your flaws while celebrating your strength. Even the most successful people in the world have things they don't like about themselves, and accepting yourself as you are in an important step in maintaining forward momentum and maintaining self-belief. Optimism. With optimism, you anticipate being successful. You view setback failures as being temporary, be able to be overcome and something to work to improve, rather than thinking to yourself when you have been successful, I was lucky that I wasn't too hard. You firmly believe that your success is due to your ability, talent, and effort. With optimism, you take responsibility for your own action and attempt to correct or modify your behavior to prevent the setback. Grit is the determinations and passions to persevere towards a long-term goal despite being confronted by significant obstacles and distractions. You use your grit to silence your procrastinations and excuses and accomplishes the things you need to get done and not just focus on the things you want to do. Often, the necessary tasks are the largest, least glamorous and immediately rewarding, but can be most important step in reaching your goals. And the time management, another beautiful skills are that building good time management skills isn't simply about getting things to be done on time. While the important setting priorities, being able to break down long-term projects into small steps and having a good system for organizing your resources are the key to getting things done in the time and getting along. Success is more than having the right technical skills or having gotten good grades in school. Your ability to build a strong relationship and network of contact and support, as well as being able to work for and with all sorts of people, is the key. Being empathic in being about understand a person's point of view will strengthen your relationship you with friends, teachers, colleagues, and clients. Knowing how to get along with everyone, no matter their background or differences, as well as being able to solve conflict peacefully is key to your functions, future success. Most of us misunderstood brain and the mind to be the same. So brain is the visible part, tangible world of the body of our mind, but mind is the invisible, inseparable, inspirational world of thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs, and imagination. The brain is the physical organ mostly associated with, but mind is the consciousness, but mind is not restrained to the brain alone. The intelligence of our mind permeates every cells of our body besides the brain cells. Our mind has incredible power over all the body system. We don't even know how strong we are until we are forced to bring time the deep hidden strength forward. In time of tragedy or war, of necessity, people do amazing things. The human capacity for survival and renewal is awesome. The layers of the mind. The biggest truth of our life is that we are the product of our thoughts. Think what you want, think what you want to do be, and what you shall become. What thought is run in your mind becomes the part of the manifestation of the destiny. We waste a great time in our life misusing the power of our mind. Not everyone believes in the wide power of their thoughts. They brush it off while thinking of the past or fearing the future, not quite understanding that the very things that they are thinking about, they are inching closer toward. And transformation takes place in the mind and not in the brain. Our mind is layered deeply. The seven layers of the human mind have been explained by Upanishad by comparing them with the seven horses of the sun. In the deep layers of our mind are as proposed by our Sila. The seven layers of the human mind have the conscious, subconscious, unconscious, superconscious, collective conscious, spontaneous mind, and the ultimate mind. Friends, what we reveal is the consciousness, and what we conceal, that is your subconscious and unconscious. This is the basic difference between the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. Friends, they are intricate. All these layers are overlapped with each other. So conscious mind, the first layer connects us with the outer world. It is called the conscious mind. Every thought, choice, planning, etc. that arises in our brain is because of the support of our conscious mind. In fact, every action, thought, or desire that is arising in us is very present moment is also getting possible due to the conscious mind. Subconscious mind, it is the second layer. The thoughts that we have this current moment get stored in our subconscious mind even after this moment passes. For example, if someone hurt us, label us with some unwanted tag, our reactions will be in the present moment. But even after that moment passes, and even if we go busy with the other actions, our reaction to the instance of cheating get stored in our subconscious mind. We store all pleasant and unpleasant experiences in the subconscious mind. And unconscious mind is the third layer. Unconscious mind is a reservoir of feeling, thought, urges, and memories which are outside of our conscious awareness. Most of the content of unconscious are unacceptable or unpleasant, such as feelings of pain, anxiety, or conflict, etc. Our reaction towards others or their action gets repeated by us in our thoughts or in our words, in talking with others, or if we continue to feel emotions of anger, sadness, etc. towards them, then these reactions and feelings of ours get stored in our unconscious mind. The feeling gathered by us in our subconscious mind undergoes a change in character and intensity at the level of our unconscious mind. And superconscious, the fourth layer is called the superconscious mind. When we are born, our birth is a grand stage of the superconscious mind. The whole of consciousness here has a loving character. That is why we find a child understand the language of love only. The superconscious mind is the aspect of conscious with a limitless or infinite in nature and which depends on any number of infinite possibilities concerning what you have taught to believe. This quote of Anonymous describes the superconscious mind as the superconscious mind is soul, source, love, and authentic you. The subconscious mind is the what you, and the conscious mind is what you do. And collective mind consciousness. The fifth layer is the collective consciousness. It is the set of shared beliefs, ideas, and moral attitude which operates as a unifying force within the society. In general, it does not refer to the specifically moral conscience, but a shared understanding of the social custom. At this layer of our mind, there is intensity of the ethos, moral norms, values, etc., collected by us over the various worth, beliefs, and Upanishads. Their intensity cannot be changed. Our collective consciousness mind has the power of awakening in the divine presence. The deeper layer of our mind enable us to penetrate and experience the secret of our infinite existence. And then again, the spontaneous layer. It is the sixth layer. And spiritually, our heart is known as our spontaneous mind. When this layer of our mind is awakened, nothing can hold us back. It is formed only in the foundation of unselfish deed and action. Friends, the ultimate mind is the seventh layer, and the Zen expressions meaning of the ultimate mind is mind without mind, and that is also referred to as the state of no mindness when all identity of the mind is dropped. This is the mind not fixed or occupied by thoughts or emotions and thus open to everything. It is the last layer of our mind where we get enlightened. It is also called our soul in the purest state or union with the God. The ultimate goal of our spiritual practice is to experience our own godly existence, and here lies the value of reaching inside to our state of the mind, ultimate mind. So this is the mind mapping. This is very important. the understandings that we have. And if you practice as a physician also, as a general person also, this is required, the basic understanding to build and feel yourself a man being born with the mind. So the human potential lies in the mind. But today we see a lot of interest in psychic power, spiritual discipline, mind expanding drugs, hypnosis, meditation, and dreams and creative. Yes, science is going ahead. Philosophy is also pulling factors for all the science. So this is the things that we have the potential, and that is our mind. So thank you, friends, for listening me with your mind. That is a garden. Your thoughts is the seeds, and the harvest can either be the flower or weeds. So with this, I conclude my session, and I thank you all for any questions if you have, and if you can find me at my email idea number risdth@gmail.com, or on my mobile number 94310206. Thank you very much. So friends, I have just concluded my session now. If you have the questions, you can ask me. But my only message for this session is to develop yourself, get awakened to realize the conscious layer and the unconscious layer together, so that you can feel your strength, you can feel and love with the people, and you have a freedom of the thoughts, you have a freedom of the playing with the universe. It is the basic things that we have to understand. So thank you, and thank you very much. And with this, this session is closed.